Alright guys, I've done this Superior King fight twice. I'm going to give you my best shot at breaking this one down. Uh, some good champions to use here are going to be like Ultron, Torch. I liked Wolverine here as a horseman. You basically got four phases here. In phase 1 and 3, you want buffs on your champion while he's wounded to do significant damage. In phases 2 and 4, you want debuffs on the opponent to do significant damage. So a lot of guys, including myself here, I put the Odin pre-fights on one of the champions. I put him on, I think I put it for fun on Wolverine here. So I'm going to, and basically each phase you need 10 counter charges. The 4 counters that you have to alternate between are baiting a heavy, intercepting, parrying, and countering a special. So we're going to run through here. So here, right off the bat, I can go ahead and I can parry. And when I counter, he's going to dash back. And you got to get used to that. It's like a really quick evade back to actually trigger that green charge on the top left. So you can see I'm going to do the different, alternate between like a parry charge or baiting a heavy charge. And when he gets his special, you bait his special, he jumps up, and it's like a 1, 2, 3, and you got to get used to it. I hear at the beginning, I sucked at the beginning of this fight, but I'm putting it in here anyway, because you can see that even though I played terrible, you can get these charges. You get them in green on the top left. You need 10 in order to wound him. Okay, here's a proper counter of the special and attacking in after, and then as soon as you attack, he counterattacks, and that's how you get the charge. But even if I die here, which I'm going to die, I'm going to blow it, but my charges that I've gained, even if I only got to 7 out of 10, if I bring in, if I revive, or even I bring in Ultron here, my counter charges, I'm going to start at 7. So even if I get kind of tied up, it doesn't matter. The charges persist, and I can get him wounded. Now again, you do want someone with buffs, and which will definitely help in phases 1 and 3, and then as well someone who's very sustainable. So Ultron does have his regen at 50 and 25%, and if you're going to try and do like a solo here, you want someone who's going to actually get some health back in case you screw up. Wolverine also, we're going to showcase in this fight. I get hit down to almost nothing, but I had 3 bars of power, and I went right back up to full. So the key bit here is the green charge above Kang is going to be the previous counter that you did. And you cannot repeat the same counters 2 times in a row. So if you parry and then you attack in and you get your counter charge, you cannot parry and do it again. If he gets, like, for example, if he throws his special like 2 quick times in a row and you can't get off your, you get the counter the first time, just back off. Don't counter him the second time. You can, so many times during this fight, if I get stunned, it's because I did the same counter 2 times in a row. If I intercept him 2 times in a row, if I parry and then counter him 2 times in a row, then I'm going to get stunned, and it kind of sucks. But when you do get him wounded, you want to, you can get a ton of damage on him. He's wounded for quite a long period of time, and you have to just put in as much damage as you can, and then repeat for the subsequent phases. The only thing that's going to be different is in the different phases, he starts to do, so you can see here, that's after he's wounded, you hit him. We're going to go into a wounded phase here with Ultron. Even without the Odin pre-fights, he's going to do a ton of damage here. Again, I'm not a perfect Ultron player, but again, I tried to get as much damage as I could in there. You can see I've got a bunch of buffs. Just those buffs are going to do put a ton of damage in this wounded phase. And as soon as he gets down to 0, he is going to reverse time, go back to 100%, and you have to do it 4 times every single time you fight this Kang. So you can see here, I did not quite get him down to 1%. So I got to do the whole 10 charges again. So it's like similar to other fights that we've had. If where you have a chance to put them into like a wounded phase, that's fine. But then you have to go ahead and do it all again if you don't get him through the next phase. Similar to a fight where you have to get to a certain percentage and then it switches phases. Here, if you don't get him down to 0, you got to redo all 10 charges again, and then then wound him, and then go into the next phase. So here, and again, the entire time it's about memorizing what your previous counter was, or else you can get really tripped up and it can be really annoying. And in like the third and fourth phase, there's going to be 2 counters up on the top right that you can't use. So if you parry and then you intercept, you cannot parry or intercept. You have to do a third or a fourth one, and then it cycles through. And as long as you can do that, then you'll be able to get him wounded. So here I got him wounded again. He's going to reverse time here. He's going to go all the way back to full health, and we're going to start again. Now, the other thing he's going to start doing in the other phases is that he will change the timing on your counters now. So when you do a counter charge, he's going to say on the right hand, it's either going to be regular speed, fast, or slow motion. And you're going to have to just, it's a little bit of practice. It seemed a lot easier than it looks. I had a much easier time with this particular aspect of it. Once I got used to that initial evade, I was fine. Again, he's going to start doing his specials in slow motion or speed them up, and you just have to be prepared to, again, look on the right side of the screen, see what he's doing for each one, like slow motion. So you got to make sure that you're, a little bit slower, faster, regular, but that's what's going on in this phase here. Again, I died here. We brought back Wolverine. This time he's actually going to put in a ton of work. He's got he's got a horseman ability, and he's got the Odin pre-fights. So he's actually pretty good here from what I had here. But you can see I got him wounded right off the bat because I already had a bunch of charges from the Ultron fight. And here I'm just going to go ahead and lay into him, get a whole bunch of critical bleeds, get as much damage as we can while he's wounded, and try and take him out. So I'm going to let the rest of the fight play out. The only thing to worry about on this one, again, is when you get to the next phase where it starts putting, right now you have a gray circle above Kang, which turns to green when you use a counter, and then you have to alternate between your counters. When you get to like the third and fourth phase, it's going to be 2 counters that you cannot use, and it just makes it a little bit more difficult, and you just have to pay attention. But once you know what's going on, it makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to let the rest of this fight play out. It was definitely not the greatest, but it's definitely not a solo, but at least you can see what is going on in the fight, and if you understand what's going on, then it won't be as bad as it seems. Definitely just getting used to Kang's like the evades, the counter evades, is very tricky. I'm not gonna lie. It's almost worth it. And special 2, I never put. That's the only time I pushed him to a special 2. I really just kept him to below 2 bars of power the entire time, and did not want to worry about his special 2. But you can see, I think this is the fight where I was able to come back from very low health. But Wolverine, fantastic counter here. Very sustainable, and you can see as I wail into him here, I'm going to heal up at the same time. I'm just not going to use my special 3, trigger a bunch of regens, bring my health back, and continue the fight, which was great. There's no real place to practice against this Kang to get the timing right. So if you can find a path that you can get through that's only 6 fights and you're not going to use any items and it'll get you to Kang, then, if you, unless you've got items that you want to spend, it's almost worth it to potentially, test out the fight, throw in a bunch of guys, see how it is. If you have the right counters and you want to heal up and continue, great. If you want to restart the path, do it again. It's permanent content. Take your time. Make sure you have it down, and if it'll save you a bunch of items to not just by redoing the path instead of just healing up and reviving all the time, then it might be really useful. Or even revive and heal up one time, get really used to the fight, get really comfortable with the evades, and the other 5 times that you do it, you'll do a much better job. This is already the second time I was doing this fight, and I already learned a lot from the first time I did it and improved a lot on the second time. I don't know if I'm going to be getting any solos, but I'll definitely pretty happy here with only a couple revives and got this guy down. So I'll let the rest of the fight play out. I hope this helps you guys with this fight, and we'll see you in the next one.